The Smeds and the Smoos by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. By Luplar Lake, on a far-off planet, there lived a young Smed, and her name was Janet. Not far away, on the Humpty Hill, there lived a young Smoo by the name of Bill. Janet, like all the Smeds, was red, and this is what her grandfather said. Never, never play with the Smoos. They sleep in holes and wear strange shoes. They jump about like kangaroos. Never, never play with the Smoos. Bill, like the other Smoos, was blue. And these were the words of Grandmother Smoo. Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play with a Smed. The Smeds on their lake like nothing better than splashing about, getting wetter and wetter. But Janet grew bored of this watery play, and early one morning she tiptoed away. The Smoos jumped about on their Humpty Hill. They bounced up and down and never stood still. But Bill was beginning to think this is boring, so early one morning he set off exploring. Janet met Bill in the Whoopala wood, where the joggles grew tall and the glompom smelt good. The two rubbed antennae and played all day long. She told him a story, he sang her a song. Then they climbed to the top of the gerberry coot and nibbled its juicy and jellyful fruit. Till who should disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fists as he angrily said, Never, never play with a Smoo. There's such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time I say to you, never, never play with the Smoo. Grandmother Smoo was close behind, and this is how she spoke her mind. Never, never play with a Smed. There's such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say it again, like I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed. Years went by on the far-off planet. Janet missed Bill, and Bill missed Janet. But off they crept, whenever they could, to sing and play in the Whoopala wood. The two of them grew and decided to wed. But what do you think their grandparents said? Never, never marry a Smoo. They're a beastly bunch, a crazy crew. They drink black tea and eat green stew. Never, never marry a Smoo. Never, never marry a Smed. My dearest child, are you off your head? They drink pink milk. They eat brown bread. Never, never marry a Smed. Janet and Bill stole out that night, while the family slept and the scroon shone bright. They clambered into the Smed's red rocket. Grandfather Smed had forgotten to lock it. Bill pressed a button and Janet steered. When their families woke, they had both disappeared. The Smed said, Your Bill must have stolen our Janet and taken her off to a distant planet. The Smoo said, It's Janet who's stolen our Bill and lured him away from Humpty Hill. The Smoos climbed into their rocket of blue, and they said to the Smeds, You'd better come too. Suspicious and scowling, they soared into space, till they reached planet Vumjum, a dry, dusty place. The Vums had long arms, which they waved in the air, but they didn't have no news of the runaway pair. The next stop was Lurgelstrop, covered in roses and watered with beasts with small eyes and long noses. They touched down on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched planet Glurt and found nothing but slime. One morning the Smoos say they'd run out of tea, so the Smeds shared their pink milk, which was pink as could be. And Grandfather Smeds said, "My hair needs a trim." And Grandmother Smoo kindly cut it for him. They landed on Sklop, where the Skloppies wore kilts. They flew to Klaboo, where the Clabs walked on stilts. They searched all year long, they searched longer till, but they didn't find Janet, and they didn't find Bill. "Alas," said the Smoos. The Smeds said, "Alack, we have failed on our quest, and we'd better turn back." So they turned and they flew home to their very own planet, and far down below they saw Bill and Janet. The rocket touched down, and they ran to the wood, where the truffles grew tall, and the glompom smelt good. And there in the glade, by the rocket of red, were the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed. They'd got lost and flown home again, only to find that all of the others had left them behind. There was joy, jam and jumping. Then Janet said, "Maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby." A baby? A red one? A blue one? But no, that baby was purple from head to toe. They all hugged the Smoo Smed, their new baby brother, and Grandpa and Gran even hugged one another. They laughed, they splashed, they danced with delight, and they played with that baby from morning till night. They made him a rattle, they made him a flute, they fed him the fruit from the gerberry coot. And they sang by the light of the silvery squoon, and you can sing too if you make up a tune. Play with the Smeds and play with the Smoos, play whichever friend you choose. Then close your eyes while you snooze, and dream of the Smeds and dream of the Smoos.